Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our Simple Abundance year with Sarah Ban Beathnach's book, Simple Abundance. And it's March 1st. We have 2 months of the Simple Abundance path under our belt already. How's it going so far? I hope 2020 is turning out to be a really interesting year so far, and that you're getting to know yourself a little bit better and diving in deep to see the authentic self that's there, that we're digging out, right, on our excavation. I like today's entry about the Serenity Prayer and just about serenity in general, because when we think about having a serene life, I think with this day and age that we're in, it does take some effort to get to a serene life, right? I think you're probably familiar, most people are, with the Serenity Prayer. And in today's entry, she has the full quote from it at the beginning of the entry. And we know that it's about accepting the things that we can't change, and then knowing the difference between when we can change it and when we can. That was a really bad way of saying it. Let me read the quote. God, give us the grace to accept with serenity the things that cannot be changed, the courage to change the things which should be changed, and the wisdom to distinguish the one from the other. Okay. That's much more eloquent than the way I was saying it. I wonder if anybody out there has this prayer somewhere in their house. Something good to keep in mind. Sarah talks to us about part of serenity is focusing on doing one thing at a time. She mentioned this before. I think it was when we were introducing the principles, and it was, I think, in the harmony entry. We are in such a multitasking sort of society, right? And, things coming at us. I know for me, I have compartmentalized a lot of things that make me a little bit unique in this day and age, because I don't have a smartphone like other people, and I don't have something going off all the time with noises, and like if I'm doing something, I'm doing it. I'm not getting pulled away. I do have a device that I can get on Wi-Fi, and so if I'm at home, I can get messages and things like that, or if I'm at a store and I really need to connect with someone, I can. But I'm a little old-fashioned in that respect, but it just definitely keeps me more serene, I think. I like the word serenity. And I think I could do better, though, about her challenge of really, and if you can take this week especially and try this, to really focus on one thing at a time, whether it is brushing your teeth, she says, or cooking dinner or something, like really being in the moment and being present. And then as far as the Serenity Prayer with the things that we can't change, I think that's something to sit with, right? And the ability to identify what we can and can't change is important too. I'd love to hear if you have any insight on your thoughts about that prayer. What else does she say? Oh, she talks about how, and this would be with simplicity as well, getting onto your email and unsubscribing from the countless emails that you get that you just end up deleting, right? I know for me, that another thing that I've done is I have this sort of throwaway email that I only check maybe once a week or so. And that's where, if I'm buying something or if I'm subscribing to something that maybe I do want to at least check in but not get messages about every day, I get it going to that email address. So you can do a lot of things with email. I know email's kind of going out for some people. They're more on the texting, but that's another thing. I don't text either, which I know is really, really weird in this day and age, but it's again a part of my peace and a part of not being, I don't have ADD, but I think that I sort of get that way when there's too many things coming at me. I can't, I have to sort of live this way of focusing on one thing or what I'm doing or the person that I'm with at one time, so that I don't get so frazzled. So I hope that today was a day, like for me today, it was like I told you guys yesterday, it was a day for me. And I am obviously not following this simple abundance path in every way, because if I were, then I would definitely have more than one day off a month. So there are some things right now that are out of my control, and hopefully within the next 2 months I'll be getting back to a schedule where I can actually have some time off and not be working so much and so scheduled with appointments and things. So I think that will help to give me more serenity for sure. So it's the beginning of March, and I told you guys that at the beginning of each month I was going to go through the Joyful Simplicities and sort of get on board with mapping out the month. And I did take the old version of Simple Abundance, A Day Book of Comfort and Joy, and then the new version that we're going through this year, Simple Abundance, a 365-day journey to a more joyful and balanced life. I did compare the Joyful Simplicities for March. They're fairly similar, except that again, she's deleted some things. And I guess I'm really curious about some of these things that she's deleted. I don't want to give a bad review to the new book because I'm enjoying it, but I wish the new book didn't take away any of the old things. I can understand some of the things that were maybe like technologically old, and then I noticed like one of the Joyful Simplicities she took out was recommending some soundtracks from some movies that were from the 90s, and I get that maybe that one needed to be deleted, but I had already told you guys a little bit about some of the tools that we're doing and some of the things she's introduced, and then a few of the things coming up. Well, 2 of them are now gone, and I don't care because I'm still going to do a video on each of them in March. One of them, I mentioned these 2 last time. One of them is the toy box, and the other one is the hope chest. So I'm still going to mention those. They're from the old book. And again, I don't really know why she's deleting some of these things, because I wish the new book was extra, but then not deleting anything. So I guess I'm a little bummed about some of the things, but good thing I know the old book, and so as I'm going through, I am cross-referencing, so I will bring in the things that I want to share and that I plan to do videos on already. So going through the Joyful Simplicities, I hope you're excited for spring and March. I think it's going to be great, and I just turned my calendars over to the new month today, and I changed over my countertop to a more springy runner, like I like to have my seasonal runner. And I meant to take a picture of the Mr. Rogers quote. I don't want to say it wrong again, but it was about having the courage to speak your truth. So I felt like that really resonated with me, because a lot of this channel is me being really forthcoming and just like laying it all out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, literally. So I always love a fresh start with a new month. All right, so the Joyful Simplicities from March, and she mentions again the spring bulbs. I don't know if you guys have been growing any. I never ended up getting on top of that, but she talks about daffodils. Those are sort of the first sign of spring, right? And those will start to be in the stores soon. So you can grab some and put them around the house. It'll make you feel more like spring. She encourages us to take a spring walk and sort of scout out the yard, visit a nursery. And she encourages us, now I've never done this, but to pick up various branches and things and put them around in vases. So just bringing those sorts of things into the house, making it kind of a creative project. And also, like the thing about bringing the branches in is that you can watch the buds come in. So it's like having a tree inside your house. So I don't know. I've never done that, but it's kind of a neat idea. Here she is again with the thrift store concept. She loves the thrift stores and the bargain outlets and things like that. She encourages us to go to a 5 and dime store and cruise the aisles and switch over things like, you know, it doesn't have to be expensive, but switching out your ratty dish towels and freshening everything up, right, for a new season. And St. Patrick's Day is coming up in March. She encourages us to wear green and check out that specific one because she's got an idea for a special meal to make and some goodies and playing some traditional Irish music, right? And she says to dance the jig in your living room. She says, I'm serious. And get a small pot of Irish shamrocks or bells of Ireland at the supermarket floral department for your desk. So again, just like with Valentine's Day and roses and things, having that sort of St. Patrick's Day feel, right? We've got the equinox coming up on March 21st too. And I mentioned that when I showed you what I did for Valentine's Day, that I usually put together a little spring basket. I really don't celebrate Easter itself. So I usually do the equinox as my little, what I call Easter basket, I guess, just for lack of a better way to describe it. So I do gather some fun things for myself in a little basket too. And she has a specific dinner, salmon cakes, fresh asparagus, and new potatoes. But I'm mostly vegan, and also I don't like really any of those things. I would eat potatoes, I guess, but I usually try to make a spring sort of meal with greens and various things. And so just marking the day as, yay, spring is here, welcoming spring. And there's a lot of things like Beltane and or is that, I might be mistaking that. That might be the May Day one. But if you look up various holidays around the spring equinox, there's so many things that come from our ancestors to pay homage to the new season. This one is neat, but I've looked around at a lot of garden centers and things, and I haven't had luck in finding this, but looking around for pussy willows, because that's another sort of spring thing, and she even encourages us to make a wreath out of them for the front door. I'm going to do a video about this next one, which is collecting your favorite affirmations, and she encourages us to actually record them and listen to them, and like your own voice saying them. I have a video planned for that. And the last week of the month, she encourages us to plant a living Easter basket. And I'm going to do this one too for you guys on video. This is where you get a basket and you grow the grass. So it's really fun and it grows really quickly. And then you can, she's got a whole description here, I'll let you read that, but you can put all the things in there like to make a living one, like with flowers or colored eggs, bows, just a fun little crafty thing. And I love my creative projects. And she says that if you make one of those, it makes a delightful hostess gift too, if you're going somewhere for Easter dinner. We are going to be doing one of the tools that I mentioned, also the comfort drawer that is coming up earlier in this month. She didn't mention it in the Joyful Simplicities, but there is an entry in March 2 where we're going to be talking about creating a personal Sabbath as well. That's another tool that'll be introduced. And she asks us at the end, so keep this in mind for your month as you're mapping out your month of March. How many creative excursions have you gone on this month? Remember, they don't have to cost a dime, just an investment of time in order to be well-spent moments. And again, so this is like going and looking around at a nursery, like we said, or going and looking at beautiful artwork, or walking in the woods. This is like those personal dates with yourself. Maybe you like going to the movies, or maybe you want to try a new restaurant. This is something that you're doing with yourself, and you're setting aside the time. Remember, it's ideally an hour a week. I did have the opportunity last week, because I had a window of time where I was going to be needing to get somewhere, and I have a cat again that is showing off here. Oh goodness. And so I went to one of the stores that's on my list that I really like to go to, and it had all the spring stuff, like little gargoyles doing yoga and various things. So that was fun to look at. So see, that didn't cost me anything. I didn't buy anything. It's just looking around and just making a concerted effort to make that time for yourself. Let me see if there's anything else from the old book. These were pretty much the same, like I said. Oh, there was one that wasn't in the new book about sowing some flowers and vegetables indoors. She keeps encouraging us to do that, and I keep not doing it, but I like the idea anyway. And we're going to be doing the hope chest and the toy box and the comfort drawer, which I also mentioned. And she says, have you done these things? And if not, why? If money is the reason, then select one pleasure and begin slowly with one small symbolic item. The crucial point is to start self-nurturing in a tangible way. So I will be doing videos on those tools coming up. So I'm looking forward to March, and I will say I just did a quick peruse through some of the headings just to sort of get my bearings again about where we are in the year. And there will be a lot more with the self-love and acceptance. We're going to be getting a little bit into some fashion entries as well, and going through our closets. We'll be doing some of those new tools like the personal Sabbath, the toy chest, the hope box, the hope chest, the toy box, and the comfort drawer, and thinking a lot about what makes us happy and how we can have a more joyful and balanced life, right? I'm so relaxed today. I need to have more time like this. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you've got your March calendar together and you're planning out some creative excursions that you can go on, and that some of these joyful simplicities gave you an idea of some fun things that you can add to add a little bit more flavor to your life. Hope all is well, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks, everyone.